Good evening and welcome to another AMF Dev Series live stream. Here we are at in Belgium at the good old circuit Zolder. Nice 11 turns we've got tonight. A little bit foggy and the weather is cold, but it's going to be a good race. Once again, joining me in the commentary box is Bruce Ross. How you going, Bruce?
Yeah, very well, Steve. How's yourself? Good to be back here and doing this again.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a break there and scheduling issues, and then not only the Le Mans the other week back that we're all tied up with. So yeah, it's good to be back, and especially jumping back into an 80-minute endurance round.
Yeah, sort of filled in last week in race control, which enabled me not to do the streaming, but back into doing it again for tonight. So we'll get straight into it with the grid.
Straight out of P1, Andrew Welter. P2, Craig Edwards, Sean Thompson, Steve Lattimore out of 3rd and 4th, David Miller out of 5th, Aaron Invers out of 6th. No surprise there, that all the fast boys are up the front again. Tyler Blackburn out of 7th, Dean Ross out of 8th, Scott Chambers out of 9th, Chris Whittaker out of 10th, Chris Moretta out of 11th, and Wayne Hewitt out of 12th. 13, Simon Mesimo. I'll stuff that up again, sorry mate. Steve Davis out of 14th.
Still just waiting for trading paints to load itself completely up, so please bear with us while some of the cars get the correct paint onto them. And we're just doing the safety car lap now, and we'll be ready to go green.
Yeah, and trust that that's hopefully it's the first technical and only technical issue that I had today. The grid just kind of buffered on me there, and I couldn't read the rest of it, so sorry about that. But yeah, we at least got the top 10 or top 14. The usual guys are up the front, and hopefully it's going to be a really good race. I know it is foggy, and there is 3 sets of chicanes in this, and then there is turn 11, or turn 9, sorry, that it's a pretty tight corner that comes back on itself. So hopefully that these guys can get around the first, 3 or 4 corners, keep it tidy, keep it clean. They did a really good race last week, so let's see what happens at the start, and if they take their pace and just take it easy. I know it's foggy, but yeah, hopefully we don't get too many safety cars, and hopefully we can start this race without 15 minutes of safety car pacing.
Yeah, I think let's hope and pray that that's going to be the case on this one. This is a little tight circuit from time to time with 40-odd cars. There's a high probability, especially with the fog too. So let's hope we can get away to a clean start. We had Watkins Glen last week where I done race control, and it was an absolute perfect race. It was a credit to everyone that was driving in that race, that we had no major incidents, and the racing was nice and clean and close. So it was a really, really good race. So let's see if we can back it up again this week.
Yeah, it was such a pity that we were all caught up with Le Mans and stuff like that and whatnot, that we couldn't broadcast that. But yeah, good on them for stepping up to the plate. And a lot of the boys, we had a few issues and a few races ago, but everything's sorted out, and these guys have really focused on how they're driving and their racecraft is, so it's really good to see. So I know it's early in the game, Bruce, but who do you reckon's going to take it out?
Look, that's a tough one. I think it's going to be one of the two up the front there, whether it be Andrew Welter or Craig Edwards, so it's going to be a close one, that's for sure.
Alright, here we are under green, and let's see if we can make it down to the first corner. Oh, there's a big pile up at the start, the first corner. Just trying to find out who that is, and that's the pace car out and about. Stephen Grimmer's caught up in it, Chad Hearn, Stephen Davis.
Yeah, just had message from race control. They're not going to worry about safety car for that.
Oh, no. Awesome. Tristan Yelland had it as a little bit of mechanical.
Oh, and Craig Edwards just stepped it out sideways there too.
That's alright, he's a little bit off the race line there, so he got back on, no dramas, and didn't cause any dramas coming and rejoin. It does look like he has an issue with his car though. He is going a little bit slower than the pace. Oh, there's another crash with 2 Race On Oz cars. That's Jesse Varley and Ian Smee.
We've got safety car, mate. So safety car's been called.
Yeah, and Craig Edwards definitely has something wrong with his car there. It's crabbing down the road.
Well, surprisingly, we made it 3/4 of the way around the track on the first lap. I actually thought that was going to come a lot earlier, so it was yeah, one of those things we knew was going to happen. The little bit of fog, a little bit of anxious people try to get on with it, but I think the mistakes that were made were just cold tyres and just overcommitting.
Yeah, I think you're correct there, and I've got to apologise. I think it's the commentator's curse there as well. I was kind of expecting of what was going on, and I was trying to predict it, but yeah, you know, unfortunately, it does happen, you know, and hopefully that we'll get another restart and be a bit cleaner than that. Hopefully race control might say something about it too.
It's like you said before, Steve, I think we just did the commentator's curse there when you asked me who do you think is going to come away with this, and I said Andrew Welter or either Craig Edwards. We've dropped Craig Edwards right back to the end of the grid with car damage on that spin, but I think that was self-inflicted, that one, so...
Yeah, definitely. I was looking through that just before. So everyone's back on the track at the moment now. The only one left in the pits is Jesse Varley. So I don't know if he's not going to take a fast repair and he's just trying to repair it, because it wasn't too much of a major incident. So as all the cars go past him, that makes him a lap down. So that's not a good start to a race.
No, it's not, and ultimately he's got to remember too, he can't take fuel in that stop because the pit window has not opened yet, so anyone that has come in for damage can't take any fuel or tyres or anything like that apart from just a fast repair.
That's correct. It's the pit window opens at the start of lap 3, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's after lap 2 completed, yes, that's correct.
So that's it now. It's only Chad Hearn pulling up that back of the track there, so he'll catch up with him as well.
Just to let everyone know too, this isn't the usual sprint round, this is an endurance round, which is an 80-minute race, hence the reason why we've still got an hour and 14 minutes to go. So once again, it's the same sort of situation where we've got to look after tyres and maintain it and look after them and make sure the car can get to the end of it. So it's going to be an interesting.
And just then as well, I just noticed that Russ McQueen dropped into the pits and then jumped straight out. He didn't take any tyres or anything like that. It looked like a fast repair, I think.
I believe we're going to go green this lap, so
So here we go as we roll back up to the start finish line, and we're about to go green. Andrew Welter up front. Let's hope that everyone just pulls in and makes it all nice and tidy and clean. Nice and clean so far. Just watching at the back of the pack at the moment, that Craig Edwards is coming through a little bit, you know, overtaking a few of the boys already, so we'll see him probably get back up the front in a few laps' time.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that that first lap spin sort of thing. That's out of characteristic for him, so he'll have the eyes on and pushing extremely hard to get that Audi back up that front. So what do you think now, Steve? Is that the end of the safety car for around here? We're going to see it again, do you think?
Look, I'm not going to say anything too soon, but I think the boys are a little bit more cautious now, and they want to just get into a pace now, get into a rhythm, and settle in, and yeah, do laps, as we say, the apexes and exits, and get their pit stop over and done, and we'll see what happens there. We'll see what the times do. They all just sit there and focus on them and watch them, you know, I call 4 really hard corners on this track, and they just focus on their lines and don't hit them big sausage, you know, curbs there. And no, everything should go smooth. So I'll say should. I'm watching what I'm saying here, so I don't want to curse anyone.
Yeah, you sort of feel guilty in a way that when you are talking about something and something like that actually happens, that you do feel a bit guilty sitting here, that you have put that curse onto them. So you try to just sort of be broad about it and not try to single out someone, but unfortunately sometimes it happens, and the unfortunate thing happens, and they're all cut up by it. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it all rolls.
Yeah, definitely. As I was just saying then, I was thinking about what I was saying. I was very cautious on how I worded things just then. I said it in a general gist, not trying to single anything out or what would happen. But yeah, these guys know how they're driving and stuff. But there's a few movers and shakers already, and obviously pity to Craig Edwards. You know, he's down minus 23 spots, but we've got got Pat Gallo that's up 11 already, sitting in P24 in front of Craig Edwards at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how this goes and see how everyone settles into the rhythm, and then obviously in a little bit of time we'll see these battles happen, you know, with patience and stuff like that.
Let's look at some of the times up the front here, and we've got Dean Ross, Steve Lattimore and Aaron Ivers. They're very, very close to each other, within 3 to 4 tenths, and also Sean Thompson, sorry. So this pack is really starting to heat up a little bit.
We do usually see it up the front end that it's really bunched up a lot.
I just saw Sean Thompson just give Dean a little rub on the back bumper there, just saying, look, I'm here. So just keep your eyes forward. But yeah, that was a nice little bit of intimidation there.
That's the whole, the pressure, you know, from someone behind you, you know, giving that little bit of pressure, hoping that they do that mistake or whatnot, you know. But in iRacing, you know, you only want to give them a little tap or a little nudge, and sometimes it just, smashes them off into a fence or something. So, you know, you've got to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah, but it's all fun and love and war when you're you just give that little bit of intimidation, and it just enough to sort of upset the driver that you're trying to try to get the pass done. So as long as exactly right, as long as you're within the rules, and a little bit of rubbing is racing, that's fine in my eyes.
Oh, 100%. If you're the one behind him, not the one receiving it, no. You know, no, good on these boys. They're all going to bunch up sooner or later, and as we always say, you know, the top, you know, 6 is always a really good battle, and the same names are up there. We don't have to repeat it, but yeah, it's always a really good race.
Yeah, like I said before, that Watkins Glen round where I done race control last week, it was one of the best races that I've seen out of this group of drivers. It was clean, it was close, everyone gave each other room, but it was just, this is what it was like. You had 5 to 6 cars just bumper to bumper for lap after lap after lap. It was brilliant racing.
And the fastest lap so far is Andrew Volta with a 1:26.2. Up there with that clean air. Oh, Oh, just as Sean Thompson hits the sausage curbs and spins it around.
Just while that happened, we're on the back of Wayne Hewitt, who's on the back of one of your teammates in Team CMR, and he's right over the rear bumper of that car.
Yeah, that's Chris Moretta there. He's the team boss. So yeah, no, he can hold his own, but he's got enough pressure on him at the moment. I think Wayne's going to pull the move on the inside on this first corner.
He said he looked
close enough.
Yeah, he showed the nose, and I thought he was going to make the dive as well.
Yeah, I was just watching it then. He's definitely itching. He's definitely put the pressure on there on Chris. So we'll see how this one pans out, and hopefully they get by nice and safe.
Yeah, we'll just stay with this one for a lap or so, because I've been watching these guys, and it's just been the times have been so identical, and you can see the pass is going to come. It's just a matter of when and how clean it's going to be.
Even watching Wayne there, you can tell that he's got his head on. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to pick at the right time, just as he gets a little bit taily. I've got to stop talking about people tonight, I think, eh?
Yeah, I think it's the theme of the night, isn't it?
Yeah, anything I say is probably going to be the opposite tonight, so, you know, I'm not saying anything that Chris can get away because he's my team boss, but I don't wish it bad on anyone. But as I was saying, Wayne was picking his moments. He wasn't just throwing it down the inside and hoping for the best.
I was about to say now, Steve, don't say anything about Chris, mate, because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong there, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, I'd probably have to deal with that one off air.
So just back up the front, Andrew Welter's walked out with a 5.9, nearly so a 6-second gap over David Miller now. So he's just taken the luxury in that clean air up front and getting a bit of a gap.
And then another thing, Craig Edwards is up to -19, so he's got another four positions in one lap, so that's good.
Andrew Welter's just coming up onto the back of some lap cars, and hopefully they give room, let him past, which they do, step aside nice and neatly.
Just hearing some stuff from race control. Was that car 550, Bruce?
What was that, sorry?
There's just some mention in the race chat there, just from race control about car 550. I'll have to clarify that and see what was going on.
I think there was something from race control earlier on about just a readdress sort of thing, give the position back, but no penalties were implied as long as that position was given back. Don't know if it's relating to 550. Once again, I can clarify that, but as far as I'm aware, there's been no penalties handed out yet.
And that's good to see Steve Lattimore up there as well in fourth. He hasn't gained or anything. He started in fourth position, so that's good for him.
This battle, I'm just watching the intermediate times between everyone and Wayne and Chris. The battle's still hanging in there.
Yeah, he's definitely still on the back of Chris there. Chris would be feeling the pressure. I have left it on there, having a look, and he's really on him. So I reckon give him the right moment and put the pressure on and wait for a mistake from Chris that I have to say is very unlikely. Touch wood.
And the other thing too, Steve, is both these guys are catching the two guys in front as well, so we could end up with a four-way battle here in a minute.
Yeah, and I think we've got, what's that, an Audi, 2 Mercedes and a Beamer, so let's see what's set up and what car's going to handle this track a little bit better. Sorry, that's 2 BMWs, a Mercedes and an Audi. So I don't like the AMG how it handles around here with some of the corners and stuff with the setups, but yeah, we'll see how these boys handle it.
I honestly think I haven't really had much to do with the practice sessions leading up to this round, so I can't sort of speculate who was doing what and what times, but to me I think this would be more Audi suited track or BMW suited track than the Merc. It just a little bit more nimble towards them cars to get around here.
Just you saw then, just when they go past Tristan Yelland, he had a little off as well just back there. It looks like his car's got a little bit of damage.
Yeah, I believe he suffered that a little bit earlier on, I believe. So he's been sort of limbering around for the last 3 or 4 laps, sort of thing, with that damage. So he's
Wayne's
probably a little
made
bit.
the move on Chris. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, he has too.
He has. Wayne made the move. I missed that. I was looking at Tristan there.
We knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time, and it looks like it's been done cleanly. So we'll see if he sort of clears him now and puts a bit of air gap between himself and Chris.
Yeah, definitely a lot of respect in that move as well. Chris knew he had it. Wayne knew he had it. He put it down there, and they both pulled out of the corner perfectly. So, you know, good on to them guys. You know, a little bit of respect towards each other, and obviously, as you said, let's see if Wayne gaps them a bit and catches these two in front.
Just looking back up the front there between the times, and Andrew Welder's continually walking that time out now. It's out to 8.6 seconds from David Miller in second.
You can only say good things about his driving. He's an absolute alien, to be honest. Andrew Welter, you go watch him race, and it's just he just gets in the zone. He picks his corners, and that's it. He moves on to the next one, thinks about the next corner, and that's how he does it, lap after lap after lap. An absolutely exceptional driver.
And this is another one of these exceptional drivers too, Craig Edwards. And look at where he's made up from. He's gone from the back of the grid. He's gone up to 18th and still pushing forward. So we knew he was going to come back hard and make some positions back. So it's going to be interesting by the end of the 80 minutes to see how far he's going to get that Audi back up the front.
I have no doubt in my mind that he'll be back up there in the top 4. And that's no curse or the commentators' curse or anything. That's just know how well of a driver he is and how he focuses and just puts his mind to it and he's getting onto it. He definitely will, without a doubt.
He just exits the corner so well. Like you look at that, he was behind the Mercedes exiting the last corner, and he's walked away out from from that corner to the first corner and past that Mercedes like it was standing still. So it's just the accuracy of getting the apexes and walking away from the corner that gives him the better driving capabilities.
Oh, definitely. He knows tricks that I don't, and how to make a car. And the same thing, if I was in a race with him, he'd make me look like I'm standing still. Just how he knows the car and how he reacts with the car and how he puts it into corners, you know, not over braking or under braking. He puts it in the right momentum every time and uses every inch that he possibly can when he's pushing. So no, absolutely exceptional driver.
He'd be so frustrated with himself on that opening lap when he had that spin by himself. He wasn't under pressure. He just made a general error in the operation of the vehicle. So it was all on himself. And but yeah, you know yourself, when you lose a position like that, you're sitting in second position, go all the way to the back of the field, how frustrated you do get. But he's kept the head switched on and pushing forward.
Oh, definitely. Just as he made that move on Mitchell, just down the inside, you know. Again, Mitchell had a lot of respect. Just moved over, and everyone moved safely. Excellent driving. But Yeah, as what you were saying there, the knock that he would have took, or the pressure he would have put on himself, kicking himself, you know, that's going to fuel him right now, and that's going to give him his drive and give him that push to get that car back up the front. And you can see how he's doing it. You can see how he's pushing that car, and he's putting it exactly everywhere it needs to be to overtake someone. That's another one. Let's focus on the next one. And he will bring it back up the front. I have no doubt in my mind by the end of this race, he'll be back up the front of this race.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a given. It's just a matter of how far he's going to get that Audi back up the front. But look, I think you're right. I think he should be looking towards a top 5 finish with the pace that he's got at the moment and how he's going through the field. So if all goes to plan, he doesn't have any more little incidences or off tracks or anything like that, then there should be no reason why he shouldn't be able to get back up into the top 5, if not even higher.
Well, that's it. You have 56 laps.
Oh, Tristan just... That's the Ferrari curse.
Oh, I just missed that one. I was crunching some numbers.
Yeah, it just snapped on him and went sideways, but I think that Ferrari's just run around with a little bit of damage, so it looks pretty clean at the moment, but so he must have gone in and got some repairs done to it, but yeah, he's certainly hurting out there.
Alright, so the stats that I got was Craig has got 20 positions, 20 or 21 in 16 laps, and we're only on lap 17 of 56.
Yeah, that's an exceptional effort.
So if he keeps going the way he's going, and obviously the front runners are a little bit faster than, you know, the back 20, you double it, he's up there with 10, 15 laps to go. Just keeping an eye on that Wayne battle there. He's on the back of Simon there. So yeah, we're going to see something. Wayne make another move here and get another spot.
And just as you say that, he does exactly that.
Yeah, he gets it down into turn 1. So there you go. There's another one for him. He'll be sitting in 9th position now. And yeah, next on the list.
He's driving that Audi exceptionally straight. He's not over committing to the corners. He's not understeering. He's not oversteering. The car just, he looks happy in it. To be truthfully honest, the thing's on rails.
It does, and I think that might be an Audi thing at the moment, because if you look at Craig Edwards, it seems happy. You look at Wayne, the same thing again. The Audi just seems really happy. Even it does bounce a little bit over the sausage curbs or whatever, but it can handle a lot better than AMG can.
Yeah, as I said earlier on, I really do believe this is more suited towards the BMW and also the Audi. They're two cars that sort of like these sort of lower speed winding tracks with a little bit of technical ability required. They sort of like it more than the open flowing tracks. That's more suited towards the Mercedes. So the two cars, the BMW and the Audi, you'd expect them to perform pretty well through here. Just to remind everyone with this series, this is all fixed setup, so everyone is driving exactly the same setup. So the driver ability is what's coming into play here, nothing to do with the setup of the cars. So, and the parity, I must admit, the way the guys have done the setups is pretty much on par. There is tracks where cars do exceed and stand out from other cars, but you'd expect that for that reason, because each car does have different handling characteristics. So, but I believe Alex done most of the setups of these. He's done an exceptional job getting that parity between all the car manufacturers to work evenly.
Yeah, he does a good job on the setups. I must admit, I think I said it a couple of races ago that it's good to even have these, you know, in your your collection as well. Not only just on here, because he does setups so well. You can use these in other races and just change tire temps, you know, just for tire pressures for tire temps. But no, he does an amazing job, and to make, as you said, the parity between all of them, to make them on a level playing field is a really hard feat. I think that's I've got to give him hats off to it to do that and take it on board and make it a level playing field. I think it's a very difficult job.
It is, and going back to what you said about then, is I do believe, yeah, I know quite a few drivers that have actually stuck with and run these setups in different rounds and different races because they seem to be happy with them. So, I mean, ultimately there'll be quicker setups out there, but the guys that are learning the ropes and driving the cars and stuff like that, it makes sense to keep a setup that you know and can use to race with.
Yeah, that's it. In the meantime, I'm just having a look here. Aaron Invers was up the front. All right, he was in the first pack, first couple of laps. He's minus 31 positions now. He's in 37th position overall and 2 laps down.
Let's have a look at the timesheets. Andrew Welter's not in first anymore, so I'm just trying to see whether he's done his pit stop already and just back through the field a bit. Oh no, it was just my timing screen went haywire.
I was just about to say that might have been a glitch because he's 12 seconds up. But although to note, Steve Lattimore just at a 127 flat compared to Andrew Welter's 127.4, and David Miller in second position 127.2. I know it's minuscule, but it means a lot in an enduro race.
I believe Steve Lattimore has actually closed that gap up to Dave Miller too. That's just over a second now, so that's going to start heating up a little bit as well.
But I'd also like to note that that's an Audi. I think these Audi drivers might have a one-up on everyone tonight.
Jump back with Craig Edwards, and he's claimed another scalp, and he's now up to 14th, so he's pushing on. He's sort of matching. He's only 3/10 off the time of the front guy, so he's for traffic to punch out a time of that is exceptionally good.
Yeah, that's it, because traffic's going to come into play very, very soon. As you can see, Steve Lattimore and David Miller are already lapping people, Andrew Welter. Traffic's going to start coming into play, and that's going to make the difference of a smooth move or cutting up some seconds on someone or catching some seconds on someone. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting watch. But I will say that I think Craig Edwards is going to be top 4.
Just saw the back end of the Audi just step out on Craig Edwards then, just around that corner. I don't know if he just got on the throttle a little bit early, or whether the pushing on that hard is just taking the little edge off the tyres there. Let's jump in with Craig Edwards and take a lap in the Audi around this circuit. Beautifully executed pass. As we rode with him then, he just set up a beautifully executed pass through into that last chicane, or second last chicane, sorry, and you could just see him just setting up where he was going to do it. He knew what he was going to do and he just set it up beautifully and made the pass work.
Do you think Rob Harris there is going to feel the pressure of Craig Edwards right up behind him?
Yeah, I think that will come into play for sure.
Just as he makes a move on him. Pretty sure there he's just good old Rob just laid off the throttle there and just let him have it.
It's giving Craig a bit of room now. He's got about 3.5 seconds to the next car, so he can sort of just concentrate on putting the getting the apexes right and punching out some good times to close that gap up a little bit more. So at least he doesn't have to contend with cars for the next 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. He's got some clean air now. But another one to watch, well, we have been watching, is Wayne Hewitt. He's up in 7th now, so he got past Chris Whittaker as well. So he's definitely on the move as well.
Starting to get into that phase 2 of lap cars coming through, so let's hope that cut doesn't come into play and cause too much havoc for these guys. Oh, and Pagallo just loses it in front of him.
Well, that's definitely, especially an enduro race, on a track that is, I wouldn't say it's too big, it's only 4Ks, you know, 127, but these guys are lapping 127s, you know. You know, you're going to get that multiple lap traffic now by the end of it, so yeah, it's going to be a bit different, but these guys are respectful, so, you know, when they do see that blue flag show up, they do let them pass, they'll try and make it you know, less incidental for them to pass.
Andrew Welter is just dominating this. He's got that lap, that lead out to like a 17-second lead, so he's sort of dominating. But I don't know if people are aware of this, but Andrew Welter's like 15, 16 years of age. He's an absolute freak. He's just got natural ability, natural talent. He knows how to drive the car.
100%. Look at the races we've broadcast and look where he's been. You know, for such a young talent, it's a name, not just in sim racing, you would want to remember. It's going to be a name somewhere. So remember his name.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about that the other day in our team as such. We were saying ourselves that someone needs to get him into a go-kart and see if what he does on the sim actually translates to real-world racing, because it's easy for people to say, oh, but it's in a sim, it's easy basically, but you can't deny the fact that he's just got natural talent, and it comes down to braking, the smoothness, hitting the apexes. That sort of things doesn't matter whether it's on a sim or whether it's in a kart or a car. That's just natural ability of knowing where to point or where to place the car to make them lap times fast.
And that's Andrew just about to go around Tristan, so there's another little bit of lap traffic, so easy as, no dramas at all. Everyone's keeping it clean so far. I think race control must have gone in there and, you know, cracked that whip a bit at the start there. Just seeing now that Scott Goodman is in the pits having a pit stop. And then we have Craig Edwards on the back of Chris Moretta. And then in front of him straight away is Simon, and then there's Chris Whittaker. So this little four car pack here. We'll see what happens. I know pit stops are coming up pretty soon, but I think Craig can get up there, no dramas at all.
I think Chris didn't want to bar of that. He just stepped aside and let Craig Edwards go past. So smart move, because he knows Craig, and he knows he's a fast driver. So you don't want to run the risk of injury or like putting damage to your car or someone else's car either. So it's easy just to sidestep him, then try to fight a battle you know you're ultimately going to lose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's probably, yeah, I'm not going to jump in the ring with that one. I'm not going to hold him up, just let him go. And I feel these boys will do the same. Understandably that, you know, a race is a race, but everyone races with everyone in the series. They know where people usually place. So, no, good on him for that. And we'll see how he gets up the pointy end pretty soon.
Yeah, you're spot on with that that outcome sort of thing. Exactly that. You know who you are racing, and they know that these guys sitting back at this far back in the field typically aren't racing against Craig Edwards. So sometimes it is easier just to sidestep than to engage in a battle you know you're not going to win.
just as Craig takes over Simon as well. So he's making moves. He's doing it a lot faster than I predicted. So yeah, good on him.
Well, that's brought him up into 9th now, so he's pushing on.
Well, definitely, if I was in this race, I wouldn't want him behind me either. So. They are coming up to some lap traffic as well, so.
We've spent a fair bit of time on Craig Edwards tonight, but I think it's justifiable in the way that we can see a fast driver getting through the field and getting through cleanly more of the points. So you can see it can be done. So the guys that are learning the racecraft of trying to get around and to make passes can go back and watch this stream and spend time and watch Craig Edwards do it with style.
Yeah, but it's not so, like, I don't see it that we've just focused on Craig as much. I think it's the props to the other drivers as well. That it's kind of demonstrating the respect that everyone has in the series, if I can't explain it right.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%, mate, because it's not only about the fast guys, but it's the other guys too that are going to get past that also have got to show racecraft to make sure that it all goes to plan and works out for everyone involved. So it is credit to everyone else. So.
Alright, let's look through the list here. We've got Wayne Hewitt that's up 5. We've got Dean Ross that's up 5 and he's in 3rd position. Steve Lattimore still in 4th, doing well. And he's got his race on Oz Tyler Blackburn right behind him as well. We've got Sean Thompson, -8. Rob Harris, he's up 8 positions. He's in 12th, so he'll be stoked with that so far. Andrew Malcolm, he's up 13. Oliver Fullerton, up 12 in 18th. We've got a few movers, and this is not the pit stop started so much now, I think. So, yeah, they're doing really well.
Yeah, and you're going to see a flurry of pit stops start very soon, so they were getting to that point where they will need to take their mandatory pit stop. So things are going to sort of chop and change around a bit, sort of thing. So be interesting to see who does what and when they do it and how much fuel they take. So see if it ultimately changes the way the field is going through.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to change it up a little bit, and then obviously it's going to mix the cars up a little bit more as well. But I'm just watching Tristan Yelland. I don't think he's sitting too comfortable in that Ferrari. He's down in P35, and he's had a few little offs tonight. But you know, he's still out there. He's still giving it a go, and he's still rotating. You know, so I don't think he's sitting too happy in that Ferrari. I don't think he's loving it too much. But good on him for keep going and being persistent with the car.
Yeah, you're spot on right there, Steve. He's not happy in that car at all. Like, the car has been real squirrely for him in the rear end. I've seen him a couple of times loop it and everything like that. So, but saying that, if you have a look at the car, look at how clean it is at the moment. I think he did suffer damage on the first 1 or 2 laps or whatever, and he might have taken a pit stop to do a fast repair then. But you look at where he's sitting in relation to 35th and how many cars have gone past him, and he's not caused incidents or banged up or dented that car. So it goes to show that he's given room, he's being aware of the other vehicles that are coming around him, and just pushing on with what he needs to do and do it in a safely manner.
just watching multiple screens here at the moment because the pit stops are going on and the cars are shuffling around. So I'm just trying to find, you know, who's the mover and shakers and who's the ones that are going to stay out a little bit longer, because obviously, you know, Craig came in early, but he couldn't take any fuel or anything like that because it wasn't pit open. So it'll be good to see what happens with this top 6 or 7, I would say, and where their pit stop strategy will be. It's definitely foggy out there tonight, eh, Bruce?
Oh, 100%, mate. We're just jumped in his car with Andrew Welter at the moment. Just looking at his race suit and helmet, just in case he didn't know who he was. I think it's pretty clear who we're driving with. Yeah, with all the fog that's out there tonight, I believe I was talking to the race organisers earlier on, and this is only 30% of what the fog level can be set on iRacing. So I'd hate to see what it was like at 100% then, because this is foggy enough.
Yeah, it on the TV cameras is such an iRacing, it makes it look 10 times worse than what it is. But in saying that, it is pretty foggy. If you go into a cockpit view, you can see the corners and stuff, but it just gives it a little bit of an atmosphere, that little bit of added pressure for you there. And just commenting on Andrew Welter's suit and helmet, what was it? It was back in the multi-class race we had at the start of the season, or the end of last season. He had this car painted like that as well.
Yeah, it's certainly original paint job and original suit and everything like that. No one else can get away with doing it.
Not at all.
We're just riding with Dean Ross at the moment. He's the first of the lead crew that's taken a pit stop. So he's done that pit stop and is back out on track. So we'll await the arrival of everyone else in front of him.
Steve Lattimore's had his pit stop as well, and that's right behind Dean Ross there. And between Dean Ross's and Steve Lattimore's pit stop, Dean was only 0.9 of a second stop longer.
See David Miller now peeling off into pit lane, so the front guys are now starting to do their stops, and Tyler Blackburn joins him as well. So we've got quite a few of them now coming into the pit stop, into pit lane to do their compulsory stops.
That's right, Andrew Welter's still out there, Scott Chambers in second, 37 seconds behind. Then we've got Wayne Hewitt in third, 40 seconds behind. Then Craig Edwards in fourth with 50 seconds behind.
So when do we see Andrew? Does he come in this lap, or does he give it a couple more? Because he's... nope, he's diving into pit lane right now.
He's jumping in now, so I want to see what his pit stop time is as well compared to Dean Ross's, because they're both AMGs, and then obviously the Audi as well. I want to see the difference in times here, or was it just a slow entry for someone?
Well, you know you got a comfortable when you've got a 20, because I think he originally, before the pit stop started, it was like about a 22-second lead effectively, so he was quite comfortable in timing ahead of second position. So I've got no doubts he's going to come out in back into the lead.
He probably has enough time to get out and wash his own windscreen then, hey?
Well, without a doubt. Go and grab us a coffee.
Yeah, why not? He'll change his own tyre, jump out there. I'll do that. Don't worry about that.
I see Craig Edwards is also back in the lane to do his compulsory stop, because after that first lap incident, done the fast repair and but couldn't take fuel because the pit window wasn't open yet. So he's back in pit lane.
So you're pretty much 100% right there. Andrew basically goes back out in the lead, as Scott Chambers is in first position at the moment, although he hasn't done his pit stop. Chris Whittaker and Simon Mesmo, he'll tell me off for telling his name wrong again. So they're third and fourth. They haven't done their pit stop, so it's pretty much going to go back to exactly how it was pre-pit stop.
Yeah, and if you look at that, you're going to be around about between 15 to 20 seconds, I think, gap between Andrew Welter to David Miller in second position.
Yeah, that's about 22 seconds, 23 seconds, I think.
Okay, so he's actually maintained the gap, so there's been no change to the time then between their pit stops, so because that's roughly where he was before everyone started compiling and doing their first pit stop.
Yeah, well, as I said about the stop times, Andrew Welter and Dean Ross did exactly the same. 18.6 that was stopped for, 49.7 was the lane time. So, you know, I was just saying if that was a little bit off from different cars, but it's not. Everything seems roughly about the same. I think it's just the travel time and who's not hitting that, you know, had that enough practice at the brake marker into the pits.
I think for me what's going to be interesting to see Craig Edwards, see how far he can now get up with 22 minutes remaining on the clock. He's sitting back in 12th position. All compulsory stops have been done. Admittedly, there's what, 4 or 5 guys in front that has not done their compulsory pit stop yet, so he's going to be sitting in roughly around about that 7th position when they filter through and they do their stops. So it's going to be interesting to see how much further he can get that car up.
Yeah, as you said, the compulsory stop's done. Although, how's his tyres going to feel?
See 3 of the front guys that haven't done their compulsory pit stops now just pull into pit lane. So it's Scott Chambers, who else we got? Chris Whittaker and Simon Mesmo, all in pit lane.
I just watched some driving between Dan Hanover and Chad Hearn there. Half a lap, these guys are not even for position. One's 18 and one's 21st. And they're side by side going through corners. You've got to give them 2 boys credit for keeping it clean. Must admit, I am surprised at a few names that are in the 20s that shouldn't be. Obviously the fog in the track and the the temperature of the track is not agreeing with everyone tonight.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool track. It's I think it's 19 degrees or 20 degrees or so, but I know there's quite a few drivers, and I know Andrew Welter's one of them, who would actually prefer a 30 plus to 40 degree track than a cold temperature track. So some of the guys are reluctant to drive on the colder tracks. They seem to like the warmer tracks, but I know myself, I'd take a colder track any day than over a hot track, because I'll just burn my tyres up too quickly.
Oh yeah, I'm the same with you. I'd rather a colder one. You know, nothing's like going around the Nürburgring with 40 degrees. You know, it's yeah, you can't hang on after one lap.
Yeah, that's it. By the end of it, your tyres feel like jelly. You just burn them up too quickly. So I'm blown away with, especially things like Andrew Welter. I know actually Watkins Glen was a very hot track last week, and he said, I absolutely love them conditions. And I'm thinking, I have no idea how you do it.
See, I think these guys are keeping a little bit of secret from us and how they're entering and exiting corners. I think I might have to go back and race AMF Dev Series and jump in practice sessions with these boys and tell them to train me a bit. Because that's another thing as well, as we've mentioned previous. You know, these boys help each other out. Eh? It doesn't matter which team you're in. You jump in a Dev Series practice that, you know, Justin or Ryan put up, and it's awesome what you can learn just by jumping on the voice chat and saying, "Oh mate, you know, oh, how did you do that?" or "How's that?" or "Can you give me a pointer?" You know, it's really good for these guys, and that's why it's a development series, even that you have these, you know, pro drivers.
Yeah, agreed 100%, Steve. I don't think there's a single driver out here that wouldn't actually give some advice to anyone that wants assistance in relation to steering these cars around any circuit. So that's really good by the fast guys up the front there to offer their services to do that.
Oh, definitely. You know that iRacing's that competitive these days now anyway, and the teams that are popping up and the competition that it's, you know, you jump in a race, and everyone that, you know, is a iRacing local as such, or around the traps of especially the Australian community, everyone kind of gets to know everyone's name. So when you jump in a normal race with someone, it doesn't matter when you're the opposite team, you know these guys, and you know, you feel like you're kind of with their team at the moment, you know, against 15 Brazilian aliens, you know, so it's a good community.
Craig Edwards sitting in 8th position at the moment, just starting to get up onto the rear end of Wayne Hewitt in 7th position. So Audi on Audi now. So we'll see if they're got the same, similar strengths, the car itself, in relation to where this pass can be made. So this will be an interesting little battle.
Yeah, this one's going to be a good move, this one. You know, well, we saw Wayne was driving before, you know, it was clean, it was 100% calculated and stuff like that. And you know how Craig drives, you know, we've been previewing his comeback all night. So, you know, this is going to be a good one here. Another note as well, that I must admit, I've been watching Tyler Blackburn as well. He's done a stellar drive tonight as well. He's up in 5th. Also, that's Chris Moretta up 2 positions as well. He's jumped 2. He's in 9th.
Oh, we've got a big crash up here with Tyler Blackburn, and I'm not sure who it's involving with, who it's with.
Brenton Hawkins.
I'm not going to say anything, Steve, but I'm pretty sure you're just talking about Tyler.
Mate, I'm kind of kicking myself, eh? Definitely 100%. You know, he he did go to follow Dean. Tyler went to follow Dean up the inside there of Brenton, and I think he's went in there a bit too hot, and he's taken out the side of yeah, unlucky. I'm just going to shut up now. I just can't give any more bad luck to these boys.
Yeah, that's very, very unlucky, mate, that's for sure. And Craig Edwards is setting his car up for this move. It should happen any time.
Yeah, I'll have to message them later and say it was my fault. I said something about 30 seconds previous.
Race control are going to look at the post-race investigation for car 948 Tyler Blackburn, so they'll adjudicate that after there. Obviously, with only 30 minutes to go, there's no point in issuing any sort of infringement now for anything that may have happened. So they'll look at it after and make sure they get every angle available to them to make a judgment call on that one.
Yeah, I did rewind that and look at it, and you could see what he was doing. You can see that, you know, Dean Ross did the exact same. You know, Brenton Hawkins stepped outside, you know, on the edge of the corner to let Dean through. So, and Tyler was that close. He went for the same move as well, but unlucky. But look at Craig. He's right on the back of Wayne. Oh, he's not gonna put it down there. He's going to buy his time. He's going to get a better run out of a corner, I think. You know, he's good at that. So I think he's going to get a really good run out onto a straight and get side by side before he makes a move.
This is the part of the circuit that he's liked. This is where he's done a lot of his passing through this last sector of the lap. So coming into the last corner and through the chicane and then into the last corner is where he really likes to do the passing.
Yeah, this bit
here, just a little bit of a step. Yeah, I was just about to say, I think he's just going to try and launch it out of that last corner and get that run down to turn one like he did it with Chris Moretta. Just stepped on him just at the wrong time, which cost him that little bit of exit speed. So he drops back behind, so he'll have to set up another lap to set it up and do it all again. Yeah, but he needs to get to fourth though. So I said he's going to get to fourth. So if everything else is going what I'm saying, so hopefully fourth. He's got quite a few fast guys in front of him now, so his work's going to be cut out for him with only 11 minutes remaining. So he's going to have his work cut out to get the words out, get the car up into fourth position as you predicted there, Steve. Don't go on anything I predict tonight. It's all been negative, so yeah, no, I'm not gonna mention anyone else's names, eh? While we've been focusing on Craig Edwards there on the back of Wayne, Wayne's also been pulling in Scott Chambers a little bit as well. So this battle's not over yet. No, well that's it. If you're a third car in a line, you would let the two front ones try and battle for it, and you just clean up both. Oh, and just a little conversation we're having off air as well. If anyone knows this track and knows what the corners are and what they're named, hence why we're not naming corners tonight. So after the broadcast, and you've just heard what I just said, if you go Google every name for this track, if you can say them, you're more than welcome in the commentary box next time we have a race here. Just as Wayne gets a little bit off there. I'm surprised he kept that on track, but he's done exceptionally well. Unfortunate for him because he's been doing great driving all night, so it's a bit of a free gift to Craig Edwards there.
But that was some car control, especially in an Audi. That was brilliant.
Yeah, no, he got away with that one absolutely beautifully. He would have had the arms working overtime, opposite locking that steering to get a pull back. So.
Oh, mate, I'd be more worried about the heart rate.
Scott Chambers, Scott Chambers will be feeling the pressure of Craig Edwards sitting right behind him right now too. And this will be one of Scott's best performance in this series. So he'll certainly be feeling that pressure, that's for sure.
Question is, will he hold him off, or will he give it to him if he makes him move? What do you reckon?
Oh look, I know Scott, I know the way he drives. He'll drive it cleanly, but he's certainly not going to make it easy for him. He's going to want that 5th position. He's not going to give that up easily, so he's certainly going to make Craig work for it.
And that's just Oliver Fullerton right in front of him there. 2030 is. That's a bit of a surprise from Oliver being that far back.
Craig winds it up again into the part of the circuit that he really likes for overtaking. So.
But if you watch Scott's lines there, it's not bothering him one bit yet. He's doing his own things, you know, apexes, X's, and he's doing his thing. So he's keeping it clean so far.
Like I said, I know Scott quite well, and he'd be feeling the pressure, and I know he'd be watching them rear vision mirror quite intensely. But like, credit to him, he's doing an absolutely fantastic job, pointing the car where it needs to be and going ahead. So he's doing an exceptional job.
Just an update on P1. He's out by 32 seconds.
Just going to stay with this battle for a little bit because this is good racing here. So.
Oh, definitely. I think this is the only battle that we've got up at the pointy end. So.
Craig's really got a good exit out of there. He's right on him now.
He's got the long way around, but is he close enough?
He's going to try to do the crisscross. Oh, he has. He's gone. This is neck to neck, but he's got the inside line for the last corner. Oh, no! No!
Oh, no!
A little bit of a touch and just cost both of them, dropped Scott right off. So unfortunate because that was a great battle.
Yeah, Scott just got the rear tyres there a little bit on the grass, I think, and it's just crossed him up a little bit. Yeah,
very unfortunate. Yeah, I think the best one that's got out of all that is Wayne. He's gathered back up and got the 2 positions back. So from his little error that he made earlier on. So.
Yeah, he's probably got a smile on his face at the moment, Wayne, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. You know, Chris just came out of that corner and just got a little bit wide and touched it on the grass, but he's probably got the, you know, the heart rate to go with it as well, and he's probably like, oh, no, now I've got to go do it again. So we'll see what happens when he pushes back on the back of Wayne here. As I said, that only up front, this is the only battle, it's a 3-car battle we've got. Through the field, it's only Simon and Tyler in 10th and 11th, and Simon just took the spot, to be honest. And the next battle down from that, everyone's pretty spaced out at a couple of seconds. It goes down to the 15 and 16 mark with Lee and Andrew. So this is probably the biggest battle that's happening at this present moment in time.
Yeah, I was just running down the list myself, and you're spot on right there. Everyone's got about a good 1 to 2 second gap between everyone, so it's pretty much, I think it's going to sort of come close to finishing all this way. So we'll stick with Craig Edwards to the end of the race, because I think if anyone's got the determination to push on, I think Craig's going to be it. See if he can get back onto the back of Wayne and make a pass there. So
yeah, well, we don't have many laps left, so I'll keep an eye on the timing screen. I know that Tyler and Simon just got that position from him. Yeah, I don't think there's any big moves that are going to be entertaining. I think everyone's going to settle in and know that there's only a matter of minutes left. So Wayne's probably up the front end here. Wayne's got a +7 on his name, so he's up 7 spots in 5th so far. The next one's Rob Harris down in 12th. He's up 8 spots, so he's going to be stoked with that. Scott Chambers, you know, he's up 2, and he's the lowest I rating within the top 15 drivers, and he's in P7, so he's done really well tonight. Andrew Malcolm in P16, he's up 13 spots with an I rating of 1,081. What a drive.
I think the award for most cars passed tonight definitely has got to go to Craig Edwards, without a doubt.
Oh, 100%. 100%. He's probably unlapped himself 16 times already. No, he's done well. Most laps led, Andrew. That's from the start.
Yeah, no one's really had the car to challenge him tonight. The only person that would have been there to challenge would have been Craig Edwards. Had he not had that unfortunate little spin on the first lap, I think we would have had a great battle up the front. I think that would have been neck to neck the whole race, to be truthfully honest. The way that Craig is driving this car and the determination that he's got, it's just, he would have had the eyes on for Andrew without a doubt.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Look, you know, you've seen these broadcasters, and as we said before, it's not just the Craig Edwards show here. He's had the major issue all race. You know, there's been a few other issues there. Oh, just as Wayne gets a little bit touchy out of that corner there, gives Craig a good run down the main straight into T1. I'm not going to say any name. Oh, a little touch. Gets away with it. There's another spot for Craig Edwards.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it looked like Wayne wasn't going to give it away easily. He kept the car in there and was going to hold it right to the end. They just had that little touch and still allow Craig to go around the outside and take that position.
Yeah, well, that's it. As I was saying, you know, we said it before, it's not just the Craig Edwards show tonight, but it's not only demonstrating his driver ability and his, you know, how he drives and his racecraft and stuff. We're showing the respect of other people as well on the track. Everyone's kind of settled in. You know, if you saw the timing screens that we are seeing, everyone kind of settled into a rhythm. And it was pretty much to show you the most entertaining of what's going on. Everyone had pretty much 2 seconds or 3 seconds between them, and there was not many battles going on that we could see on the timing sheets. So yeah, apologise for sticking on one car so much, but it's the most entertaining at the moment.
We'll give Andrew the last 30 seconds of credit towards the end of the race. So he's driven exceptionally well tonight. He's kept it clean. He's got around lap traffic. He's just punched down, done his numbers, done what he needed to do, and just walked away with a win.
Oh, he'll be stoked. He'll be absolutely stoked. Start to finish. There was only, what, 2 laps? I think he didn't lead. And that's when there was it David that was in the lead from not pitting?
Yeah,
so
I think
he's
that's
done an
right, yep.
exceptional job, man. He can drive that car, no dramas. He's probably, you know, cool as a cucumber, sitting there thinking, look, I've got the win.
looking at that, he looks a bit excited to take that victory.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. There's Andrew Walter got the win as he flicks it sideways.
I know we've been saying it all night, but Man of the Match award goes to Craig Edwards for that drive. That was an exceptional drive to go from second position to the end of the grid, then to come back up into fifth position and get fifth. So, drive of the night in my eyes.
Well, that's 30. I think he did 31. I think he was in 36. So he's done 31. Good to see that Tyler kept going. He's in 11th. Finished 11th there. Oh, well, there's another one in the bag, Bruce. So, yeah, that was interesting to try and find. Well, after the first, first or second lap there when we had the safety car, it was pretty hard to find a couple of battles there.
Yeah, I think Craig kept us entertained all night, and I hope everyone enjoyed watching a master in the Audi get around the circuit and pass some cars, because ultimately that drive was just absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, it was there. It was amazing driving from him. Not to mention, let's go through the field and say that there was amazing driving from everyone as well. Everyone was respectful to everyone tonight. It wasn't like previous races. There was some good battles, very short ones, to be honest. But no, I call that a really good race. Everyone kind of settled after that safety car, got in that rhythm, and they just cruised for the whole entire race and did their pit stop and came back out. That was kind of a good race. I was expecting maybe a couple of more safety cars, so the guys have surprised me a lot. And even though, my what would you call commentator's curse and saying a few names and something happening there, but sorry to them guys, I didn't mean it, obviously. But no, awesome race, mate. Awesome race tonight, especially with the conditions that it was, the fog, the cold. And especially with them 3 chicanes and then turn 9 that turns back in on itself.
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone drove a great race, even down to the guys. Like, you go back to Tristan in the Ferrari, had a couple of issues, stepping sideways, but still kept in it, kept clean, kept out everyone's road, and just finished the race. So, yeah, it was great driving by all, and yeah, another good race. And I'd like to say thank you again for jumping on the commentary and helping out.
Oh, not at all. I give it all props to you, mate. You run the cameras and everything like that and try and commentate at the same time. So I know how difficult that would be. And I appreciate you being here as well. And hopefully very soon we can get a third one in the commentary box and we can all have a laugh.
That's exactly right. Oh, we'll do it all again next week. And until then, I'd like to say thank you, and we'll catch you all then.
See you guys.